Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We appreciate your time. We are going to jump into the webinar. I have Lauren O'Brien. She's the billing manager of New England OBGYN. She was kind enough to join us today, and we certainly appreciate that, Lauren. And myself, my name's Glenn Underwood. I'm the sales director at Amazing Charts. So the two of us will be walking through probably a 10 to 15, maybe 20-minute question and answer webinar today. Again, discussing why Lauren and her practice decided to switch out their practice management solution. So we'll give you a little bit of background on their group, New England OBGYN, some of the challenges that they were facing with their current practice management / billing system and why they were looking to change, why they made the switch over to our solution, and then we'll open it up for some question and answer at the end of the webinar. So let's get underway. So a little bit of information about the practice. So it's New England OBGYN. They're based in Chestnut Hill, which is basically just outside of Boston, so a suburb of Boston. Pretty sizable practice. They have 12 physicians, 4 nurse practitioners, and a genetic counselor, all providing various services to their patient base. They do have roughly 55 employees on staff, which includes the front desk, check-in people, as well as a sizable billing staff that manages all of the billing that they do to the insurance and for the patients they manage internally with their own staffing and resources. So some of the services that they provide as a full-service OBGYN practice, obviously doing deliveries and GYN care. They do some prenatal care, postpartum care. They do have an endocrinology division and, again, some genetic counseling. There are also many procedures that they do within their offices. So, Lauren, we would love to just ask you a few questions about, some of the challenges and why you were making the switch. And maybe we start off with, what was it essentially like before you made the switch to Amazing Charts Practice Management, the environment and the platform that you were running on previously?
Well, it was very challenging with our old system. We didn't have a lot of control over our claims, and we basically felt like we were constantly looking for and finding problems that we didn't know about, mistakes made by the old company that, like I said, we didn't have control over, and some of it we missed entirely, which really affected our financials.
Sure. Certainly understandable. And from our understanding, you had a company that was doing the billing on your behalf, and you've decided to bring that in-house. Is that correct?
Yes. So we were looking, to actually create our own billing staff and handle our own posting and claims and et cetera. Okay.
Excellent. And part of that transition, I'm going a little off script here, but part of that transition, I know you had to bring in some additional billing staff, I believe, to be able to manage that transition from outsourcing to a third-party biller to, I'll call it, insourcing with your own internal resources. Is that correct?
Yes, we did. We had to hire 2 additional staff members to handle that. We already had a few people on board for, coding, because we do our own coding in the billing department. Our physicians code their own stuff. We review everything and do all the coding for it as well.
Okay. Excellent. And just for the folks on the line today, I didn't mention this initially, but New England OBGYN uses a electronic medical record called Epic. And all of that information that Lauren had referred to from a billing standpoint, all of the coded events, I'll call it, right? So ICD-10, CPT modifier information, all of that flows from the Epic EMR into the AC Practice Management solution. So Lauren and the team can review all of those claims before they get queued up to go out to our clearinghouse services. So just a little bit of background on that. So, Lauren, if you could you just give us a little bit of background on, how you started your search and how you came to find the Amazing Chart Practice Management solution?
So basically, started with Google search on different PMs and what they offered, and got some referrals from other practices, and really liked what you know, ACPM had to offer and what I heard about it, and that's, you know, where we made our decision to do the demo and really find out more about the company.
Great. And I do recall that we did, I believe, a couple online demonstrations as well as a site visit to your facility up in the Chestnut Hill area. Very beautiful office. So we certainly appreciate you doing all that research and ultimately selecting our solution. Were there any particular features that were most important to you and the staff as you went through this decision-making process?
Yes. So we really liked, you know, the control we have over all of our claims, that we get to see everything, you know, right down from a denial to, you know, the EOBs, and really get to dig into everything. You know, and we liked the fact that we could do either one. We could either have full control, or we could give up some of that control and say, can you help us with this part of it? And I think that, you know, pretty much sold us on choosing ACPM, that we didn't have to do it all, but we could do it all.
Sure. So that's one of the great things, I think, in my opinion, about the solution that we have to offer, in the fact that if you decide to bring billing in-house like you did, and you brought on a couple additional staff, that you can do it internally, but we have the resources to, I'll call it backfill, if something were to change in the future. So we do have a full team of billers that can assist our practices. So we don't force you into like a cookie cutter solution. You get to choose what is best for the practice. And in many instances, over time, during the course of our relationship, things will change, and ultimately, you might say, oh, we want to outsource it to the ACPM team to manage the billing. But again, you do have that flexibility. So we certainly appreciate that, Lauren. That's great. How about once you made the selection, what was it like, and what did you like most about working with our team? And I'll call them professional services. I believe you worked with Maura McLaughlin from a implementation standpoint. Could you give us a little insight into that?
Yes. She was great. She was absolutely great. I think that the whole team was very supportive. They're always reachable, very knowledgeable, and I think that the training with ACPM was really good. You know, they gave us every scenario they could possibly think of and how to work it. And even, you know, when we went live, it was like, okay, well, you're not going to see this for, you know, another month, so we'll do another training in another month once you start seeing this come into your system. So I think the training was impeccable.
Excellent. And part of that staging process, I'll call it, is, you know, getting various folks on your staff up to speed on utilizing the solution. So when Lauren says, you know, we're not really going to be utilizing the payment posting, essentially, for a couple weeks post-go live, that we wouldn't want to train you months in advance on that. We would want to wait till ultimately some of your remittances are going to be coming into the system, and then we train you because that's going to be active, right, remits that do come into the system. So we kind of stage the training depending on the size of the group and the number of the providers and so forth, but we stage that out over a couple-month period typically, and I think, Lauren, for your group, we extended it even a little bit longer just based on the, 55 employees that you did have for the practice.
Right, yep, and it, like I said, timing of everything was, great as far as, when we did this and then we moved on to that. I mean, I just think that everything, just the flow of it was really good.
Sure. And as part of that transition, you had to work down the accounts receivable in your prior system, or your billing company worked that down as you transitioned into the ACPM solution. Is that correct?
Yes. So we were working the two systems for, about a month.
Okay, great. Very good. And I know we answered a couple of these bullets in your prior answers, but would you say there was one or maybe two main reasons that you would recommend our solution? I've heard you say, the control and visibility and so forth, or were there any other things that you would say would allow you to recommend our solution to other practices or clients?
Well, I also want to say that it's really easy to use ACPM. It was very easy to learn, and then the daily use of it. The dashboard that you first log on to, you have all your stuff right there in front of you. You work down your different buckets, and really everything is right there for you. The ease of use is really a big factor too.
Okay, great. And by design, when we architected the solution, and this dates back to early to mid-90s, I would say, everything gets pushed to the surface, as Lauren's referring to a dashboard. And that dashboard would have information on claims. It could have information on patients that don't have valid eligibility. It could be claims that need to be reviewed because before they go out to the clearinghouse, they get scrubbed to ensure that they're accurate. And even though Lauren and her team have a ton of coding expertise, it still goes through that scrubbing solution to ensure that each and every claim is as clean as it can possibly be before it goes out the door. So we certainly appreciate that. So those are all the questions that we had to review with Lauren. And what we'd like to do is open it up to question and answer from, the folks that are on the call today. So you can put it in a chat box, and myself and Mike, we will address any of these questions that you do have. So why don't I give the folks just a moment to do that, and we will go through any questions that you do have. Thank you. And we'll give the folks a minute or two to see if there are any questions. So it does look like we do have one that just is coming in. So Lauren, the question we have is, on average, how many claims do you send out to insurance on a monthly basis? And are these claims sent electronically, or do they drop to paper? Any thoughts on that?
On average, we have about 3,700 to 4,000 claims monthly that go out, and they do go electronically. There are very few that we drop to paper.
Okay. But in the event that they do need to drop to paper, you have the ability to fill out a traditional HCFA form and mail it into the insurance company. Is that correct?
Yes. In ACPM, there is when it needs to be dropped to paper, it falls into a different bucket and lets us know, and we print those out at the end of the day.
Okay, great. Excellent. We do have one other question that has come in. So the question, Lauren, can you explain your payment posting process? Say that fast. Payment posting process, meaning, do the remittances come into the system electronically, or do you have to go to various payer sites to download the remittances?
Nope, they come in electronically for the most part. They all come over electronically into ACPM, and we open up the file and just verify that we agree with all the posting before we accept it. Very few don't come over electronically, and we have a lockbox that they will come into, and we will post manually, but there's not a lot of those. And that's based on the insurance company does send them electronically. They're not set up. So it's more like the really small insurance companies.
Okay. So a majority of yours come in electronically so you can post quickly.
Yes, all of the major insurance companies.
Great. One more question came in. It says, many patients today opt for insurance plans that have high deductibles, including me. Do you have any programs in place for online payments or payment plans to help manage patient AR? If so, can you explain how they work? So basically, do you accept any online payments?
Yes. So with ACPM, we have an online payment portal where patients can go on and make their payments, and they are processed through InstaMed, which has a payment plan set up inside of their program where they'll set up a payment plan, we put a card on file, and every month that card just gets charged. We, get the patient to agree to it, so we don't have to worry about it after that. We set up the payment plan, and then just monthly, their card on file will get charged.
Oh, excellent. So that certainly helps managing overall patient AR, and what we've seen for clients we do billing for is, in the past it used to be roughly 5 to 10% of their overall AR, and in some cases we now see that upwards of 20 to 25, even 30% of the practice's overall AR's patient balances. So great to see that you have a program in place to assist in making those payments.
Yes, it's very easy.
Great. I do have one last question that has come in. Question, Lauren, do you utilize or would you recommend utilizing an automated system for confirming patient appointments via phone call, email, or text messaging? I don't know if you do that through Epic or through ACPM by chance.
We do it through Epic because it's set up through Epic to do that, and we do all of our we have to do all of our scheduling and everything through Epic, so it's already built into the system, and they call and text patients to remind them of their appointments 3 days beforehand, and which is great because it gives them the ability to confirm, reschedule, cancel, any of those things right there.
Great. Okay, we appreciate that. And again, for the folks on the line, the design and workflow for New England OBGYN a little bit different, utilizing the Epic system. But for practices that use ACPM for the front end, meaning the registration and scheduling like Lauren's doing within Epic, we do have the ability to reach out to patients to confirm appointments, and you would select how that patient wants to be contacted. So I might want an email, Lauren might want a text message, et cetera. So that capability is available. So we appreciate that. Lauren, no other questions have come in. With that, I think we will close the call. We certainly appreciate your time today and walking through and answering some of the questions that came from the group, as well as the questions that we had prepared. So we certainly appreciate that. And folks, for everyone on the line today, we did record this session, so we will be sending that out to anybody that did register for the event today. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Thank you so much.